Staff Sergeant Roger Bales is a veteran who's currently serving life in prison for committing a heinous and gruesome crime. And the News Tribune of Tacoma just got their hands on a letter he sent to the Army requesting that his sentence be reduced. But what's really interesting about the letter is the insight into the mind of somebody who was totally jaded by war. So let me give you some of his quotes here. And actually, keep in mind, before I begin, here's what he did. He shot 22 people, including 17 women and children, and 16 people died. So he snapped and started lighting up civilians. So here's what he's saying now that he's behind bars and that he's had time to reflect. He said, "My mind was consumed by war. I planted war and hate for the better part of 10 years and harvested violence. After being in prison 2 years, I understand that what I thought was normal was the farthest thing from being normal. Over my past 2 years of incarceration, I have come to understand that there isn't a why, there is only pain. I came to hate everyone who isn't American. I became callous to them even being human. They were all the enemy. Guilt and fear are with you day and night. Over time, your experiences solidify your prejudice." So he says he felt perpetual rage when he was at war, and he was drinking heavily, and he was relying on sleeping pills. It also doesn't help that he admits he was on steroids at the time. Now, there's the old idea, the old notion of roid rage. I don't know if that's scientifically proven, although I wouldn't be surprised if having extra testosterone in your body does make you more aggressive. So that could have played a factor in this. And today, while he's locked up, he turned to Christianity and, he's studying to become a barber. And he's basically saying, yeah, I was a bad guy. I learned my lesson, Can I get a break here? And as I was reading the article, I believe the article was on Huffington Post, but as I was reading it, you get this sense that the tone of the article is bordering on sympathetic. It's not outwardly and outright sympathetic, and it's like on his side, but it's clearly not in, a kind of morally judging tone of like, hey, asshole, you shot women and children. You shot over 22 people. 16 are dead. So it doesn't have a negative tone to it, and it's leaning more in the positive, give him a break direction. And it struck me as I was reading it, there's no way that if you flip the script, there's no way that the article would have the same tone in there. So let's say there's some guy, some Iraqi or some Afghani who basically saw America invade, saw what they were doing, and genuinely thought, as would be totally understandable, okay, I don't want a foreign invading power in my country. I don't like this. Let's get the fuck out of here. And they get more and more angry, and they get more and more angry, and then one of their friends is killed by, in an accident when an American soldier ends up killing him, and then he becomes radicalized, and he says, fuck this, give me a gun, I'm going to fight back. And then let's say that person goes on a shooting rampage and kills, keep the numbers exactly the same, keep the genders and the situation the same, goes into some sort of U.S. military base, shoots 22 people, 17 of them women and children for whatever reason, women and children being in some U.S. base or something for whatever reason. They die, and then, the guy gets arrested and he's found guilty. Even if that guy said, hey, I had a come to Allah moment, and now I'm learning to become a barber, and I realized that I was blinded by my rage because the invasion pissed me off and it wasn't right to react like that. I don't even, given those facts, I don't think there's any chance that the article would have been moderate in its tone or leaning on the side of sympathy. I don't even think that article would be run. I think the facts of the case being what they are is strong enough to say, I don't give a fuck what you're feeling right now. What you did was wrong, and we're assessing the crime based on the damage done to the victims. You had your chance, son. Nobody gives a fuck about what you're feeling right now. Oh, you're sad because you're locked up for the rest of your life? Good. That's the point. Right? It got me angry to realize that even one of the sites that's supposed to be more, open-minded and more objective in their viewpoint compared to like the Daily Caller or some shit, that even they kind of fell into this trap. The trap of like, well, the guy was just fighting for his country and he did what he thought was right and he was defending us and he snapped. He's a crazy person when he was over there and he kind of lost his shit real fast. It's always like your side in a conflict gets the benefit of the doubt in that the general sentiment is we mean well and we're decent people, and if somebody happens to do something wrong, they're the exception. So, maybe we can give sympathy because, it's not like we were trying to do all these bad things. But here you have a guy who admits, yes, I shot 22 people, 17 of them women and children, 16 are dead. And even with that, even given those facts, when the guy at the time admits it, give it a little bit more time, and all of a sudden people are like, should we give him a little more time off of his sentence? It's that mindset, the inability for a lot of people in America to view our crimes as the same level of atrocity as others' crimes. It's that kind of mindset that I think fuels a lot of anti-American sentiment around the world. Now, we've brought up this poll before, but I think there's been multiple polls now where, respected organizations, I don't know whether it was Gallup or Pew or CBS or whoever, there was a respected organization did a poll recently, I believe it was last year, asking, thousands of people around the world, hey, who's the biggest threat to world peace? The U.S. was number one by a country fucking mile. To the point where even I was like, God damn, son. And the thing is, Americans, we need to try to tap into where these people are coming from, because either everybody else in the world is fucking crazy, or maybe we're not noticing something. Which do you think is more likely? Now, I know it's hard because people know, again, we mean well. I can't imagine us. We shouldn't have the same kind of moral indignation against us when we fuck up. Maybe we should. Maybe if we hold ourselves to that higher standard, maybe if we demand the same kind of objectivity when talking about our own crimes as we do when it's other people, maybe then we would, open up our eyes quicker and realize that maybe the only rational standard that makes sense for foreign policy is that we only send our troops in order to actually defend the nation. That wasn't the case in Iraq. That wasn't the case in Afghanistan. I get it. If you want to, get back for 9/11, go take out al-qaeda, and you want to do it in a smart way. You want to do it by using special forces and you pop Osama bin Laden in the face. I'm not going to argue against you. In fact, I think that makes sense. Okay, we were attacked. We got to get him back. Okay, we got him back. Good, we're done. Now let's leave. If you want to do that, that's fine. But the problem is when we use things like 9/11 to then justify, hey, we're going to go into Afghanistan, we're going to go into Iraq, we're also going to get involved in Pakistan and Yemen and Somalia, we're going to do a drone campaign that's never fucking ending, we're going to do, now we're involved in Syria, we're going to fight ISIS, we're going to try to do some drone strikes every now and then at Boko Haram and al-Shabaab, we're going to go all over the places. We're not helping. We're not making the situation better. And that's not to say that, hey, nobody needs to go after Boko Haram or al-Shabaab or al-Qaeda or any of these other groups. Yes, they do. But not us. Not us. We've already been doing it for over a decade, and the results have been horrific. There are more terrorists now than there were before we got involved. If you're being rigidly objective about this, and the goal was, let's take out terrorists, we failed! It's the same as the war on drugs. Hey, we need to cut the drug usage rate. It went up! It went up, and you wasted $1 trillion in the process, you fucking geniuses! So you failed. Same thing with the war on terror. You failed. There's more jihadists today than there were before we started the war. So what's the answer? The answer is not to do what we're doing, and the answer is not to, be casual and nonchalant about maybe we let our guys out of prison when they kill, shoot 22 people, kill 16 women and children. Maybe we should do it. No, we shouldn't. We should be more objective. We should understand our crimes, and we should say, dude, just get out. There's no, Boko Haram is not in Wisconsin, okay? Al-Shabaab is not in Rhode Island. They're not here. They're not coming after us. Stop fighting the boogeyman overseas and creating more enemies. Let the international community deal with it. Let the Shias in the region deal with it. Let the moderate Sunnis in the region deal with it. We're done. Last thing I want to do is make more people hate America. The first thing I want to do is bring us back to common sense on our foreign policy, which means we only use our military to defend against imminent attack, and that's it.